Camilla says, the ends of my fabric always fray. Have I missed a video on this? Hi, my name is Elle. I'm a cross-stitch artist and designer here on TikTok. And no, you have not missed a video on this. I think that I've probably mentioned this in lives before, but I don't think I've ever talked about it in a video. So one of the downsides of working with Aida cloth is it is a fabric that is prone to fraying and starting to peel apart. So one of the things that I personally do when I am free stitching a project, so that's if I'm not putting it in a hoop or on a scroll frame as I am stitching it, is I take masking tape and I will tape off the edges of my fabric before I get started. So just take a piece of masking tape that's about the same length as one of your sides, stick it on and fold it over. Now, I will say as you unpeel this, it might cause a little bit of fraying when you go to pull it off. So always make sure that you cut extra fabric, more than you need, before you tape off your edges. But this is how I make all of my bookmark pieces. I cut them a little bit extra big. I tape off all the way around it. And then when I'm ready to do the blanket stitching to seal in those edges permanently, I don't even bother to peel this off. I honestly just cut directly to the size the bookmark needs to be. So I make sure I cut them big enough to be able to add the masking tape more than the outside edge of the bookmark, if that makes sense. So that is my best tip to keep your edges from fraying as you are working on them. I will also say that different brands of Aida cloth tend to fray more or less than others in my experience. Some of the brands seem to be incredibly fray prone and other ones seem to barely fray at all. So definitely keep track of which brands you're working with and which ones you like to work with. If you don't like that it's fraying, you might want to try a different brand and see if you have better results with something else. And then the other thing that I do is when I work in a hoop, I find that it frays a lot less. When I work with a craft stand, it frays a lot less than if I'm just holding it in my hands, because the edges are getting touched a lot more if I'm holding something in my hands. And it's a lot more likely for those little edges to get pulled and start to fray. I hope that helps. And if you have any other questions about cross stitching, feel free to leave them in the comments. And I'm always happy to make videos to respond to your comments. As always, happy stitching.